2030년 어떻게 변할 거라고 보시고 어떻게 바꾸고 싶으십니까?
You'll be opening your fridge and the fridge will be like, the avocado has been here for 3 days. You might want to eat it the day before it goes bad.
당신의 인생에서 가장 중요하다고 생각하는 어떤 깨달음이 있다면 그 한 가지를 좀 알려주시겠어요?
Can it be 3?
Yeah, sure.
And I think this is what I even teach my children. First, of course you must have the
안녕하세요, 한석준입니다. 진짜 대가들의 순도 높은 지식을 전하는 지식인초대석. 오늘은 전 세계 AI 리더들 중에 리더, 구글 클라우드의 모에 압둘라 부사장님 모셨습니다. 어서 오십시오. 먼저 첫 번째로 자기소개 부탁드립니다. 저희 구독자분들에게.
First, I just want to say it's really amazing to be here and thank you for having me. I have the honor of leading the engineering and technical team for the Asia-Pac region. What that means is we spend our days thinking about how to influence our product to serve the local market and work with customers to understand how to make this technology useful for them. Very exciting.
작년 한 해 동안 구글 주식이 65%가 올랐습니다. 지금 사도 될까요?
That was a tough question. I will always ask people to invest and buy, but I think it's a great question because we're obviously very excited about the market reaction to our innovation. What I really appreciated and absorbed about Google is that how innovation is at the heart of the company. So as somebody, as an engineer who looks at this innovation, Google as its size has in its DNA the mentality of a startup. And a startup survives by continuously delivering real value. Even if I look at Google Cloud, a lot of noise and a lot of excitement is about AI. But if you look underneath Google Cloud, our security portfolio is growing incredibly. We've had the recent acquisition of Wiz because we recognize that the world needs better security in the age of AI. So our data platform is innovating. It's not like, oh, we have the best, data platform, so let's not innovate. No, we are restless. So my short answer is, as an engineer, I'm incredibly excited about everything Google is doing. Your investors can advise you on the rest.
오케이. 최근은 정말 AI 시대가 됐습니다. 그래서 정말 몇 해 전까지만 해도 상상도 못할 일들이 벌어지고 있고 한국에서도 뉴스로 접하고 있지만 실리콘밸리에 있는 우리 미국의 테크 기업들에서 대규모 해고 사태가 일어나고 있다는 얘기도 접하고 있거든요. AI로 인해서 없어질 것 같은 직장은 뭐가 있고 혹은 새로 생길 것 같은 직장은 뭐가 있습니까?
I think one of the most important topics society and everybody needs to think about. I say this very humbly. I know I look young, but I've been working for 30 years.
Wow.
I've seen technology trends come and go, and many of them presented a moment of threat. My observation and our philosophy in Google has been that AI has so far and will continue to be a technology that empowers people to really accomplish more with less. Not less humans necessarily, but actually with less resources. By augmenting those humans with AI, we're able now to do the job completely, thoroughly, and to high standards. The same in call centers. I'm sure everybody in the world has picked up the phone and called the call center and had to wait for 10 minutes. Sorry, our lines are very, very busy. Does that mean that we introduce AI and we reduce the time to 1 minute that we should let go of these humans? Absolutely not. Many, many call centers are using Google AI today so that they can deliver better quality and they do better coverage. So my observation is that AI is truly going to solve the first problem of needing to create more expertise, more resources to be able to satisfy that demand that exists in the world. What's going to be obsolete in AI is not humans, it will be tasks. If tasks are just very manual and they don't need the emotional intelligence, the critical thinking that a human can bring to a situation. Now, does that mean that that human is going to be redundant? No. That means that the human can go and do something more sophisticated, something different, and something higher order. And I think there are many, many dimensions that AI will advance in that we humans would love to appreciate. For example, I would love physical AI to evolve where the robot can actually do the laundry for me. I really would love, and believe it or not, there's a lot of companies spending a lot of time doing that. It might be interesting to know how an executive is using AI or an executive at any company. I'm really responsible for 3 things. 1, set the vision and the strategy for the team with priorities. Number 2, I need to make decisions every day. And the third is I want to unlock and unleash the talent. Have a good balance in their life and work and so on and so forth. These are the 3 things that I am balancing every day. In fact, if I just focus on one of them so that the decision making good decisions are decisions that are made with data. AI is perfect for data. So now when I think of AI, I don't think of AI as something that will replace me, but I think of AI as a brilliant chief of staff. At Google, we have a little thing internally. It's called snippets. And it looks at our email and it looks at our calendar and it looks at our activities. An employee and a manager meet every week. Like, hey, Mo, how was your week? What did you do? Before, I used to sit down and go, oh, boss, this week, did this customer, did this thing, and so on. This little snippet actually generates things for me. And it tells me, this last week, you met with these customers, you did these things, etc. And now the time it takes me to actually think about these things is gone to tiny seconds. So AI is helping me as an executive in these various dimensions I talked about. AI is not going to replace us soon, I promise you.
이런 AI 시대에 구글에서 바라는 인재상은 어떤 겁니까?
For us to try and find this talent, we're starting to look for things that distinguishes one scientist, one engineer from another. And it really is in the form of three things. First, of course, you must have the technical acumen. You must be competent. If you are building furniture, you want good carpenters, for example. That never goes away. So we absolutely need people who have the base technological knowledge around machine learning, AI systems. But that's not the distinguishing factor. The distinguishing factor, it's actually business creativity to understand and imagine what to do with this AI. And so the type of person we're looking for to hire is the person that can understand, sit alongside a customer, partner with them, not to tell them, oh, Gemini is good and Vertex is good and let me show you how to tweak it, but to actually imagine with them how this technology can reshape their business, create new experiences. And that skill is surprisingly not widely available because you have to have multiple factors along with the technology, which is you have to understand business. You have to understand user. You have to understand experience. You have to understand how to do all of these things together. The third thing, super critical, is empathy. You know, technology is a gift, but it's also a threat for people. Anything that causes change. We're biologically built to not like change and become very proud about the technology and be arrogant about it. Look at this technology. Look, this solves math faster than you. That's not going to help people overcome their fear or embrace the change. So being able to be empathetic, connect to the human emotion and help somebody evolve with you. And the more we are able to nurture that skill, the more I think we can put this amazing technology to use in a very productive, additive, and constructive way.
이것도 구글에서는 많이 생각하고 있는 부분일 것 같은데 2030년에 AI를 사용하고 있는 인간 사회는 어떻게 변할 거라고 보시고 어떻게 바꾸고 싶으십니까?
When mobile phones first got created, everybody talked about the phone. This phone needs to do this, this phone does this. Today we don't talk about the phone. It's an integrated part of our life. In 2030, I believe AI is going to become two things. It's going to become pervasive. It's going to be part of everything. Today we laugh. We're like, what do you mean a fridge with AI? But you know what? The fridge, you'll be opening your fridge and the fridge will be like, the avocado has been here for 3 days. You might want to eat it the day before it goes bad. And it's not a fancy feature. It's just integrated into the appliance. That's one thing that I think by 2030 we're going to see. It's just pervasive. The second thing that's going to be our intelligent companion. I believe just like mobile phones allowed people to leapfrog the digital divide, mobile phones came. Somebody in the village can now actually sell through the phone. It empowered these people to get digitally literate and participate in a new economy that they could not. The same is going to happen with AI. I'm going to walk into a space and the AI is going to understand my context and it's going to help me navigate that context, whatever it may be. I don't need to go and find the board and go, where's my flight? It actually looks and goes, oh, you are in this airport. Your flight is in C. Walk to C.
혹시 2030년에 AI를 사용하는 터미네이터가 와서 우리를 공격하진 않을까요? Is Gemini, Skynet?
Gemini is very cute and kind. Every technology has the potential to be abused. Nuclear energy has the power to be destructive or has the power to be additive to humanity and society. And what we've done is we've paused some of the things that are bad of nuclear. We created safeguards. We created a society system. This is always going to be a battle. And the battle is never and should never be controlled by one company. And it will never be controlled by one company. It's the duty of all of us to continue to challenge and live to these principles. And I certainly hope the only place where a Terminator will exist is in the movies.
아시아 태평양의 전체 책임자라고 하셨는데 그럼 그중에서도 특히 한국에 주목하시는 이유는 어떤 부분인가요?
I've had the pleasure to work in the Asian market for about 20 years. And more recently, as I relocated to the region, you look at the countries that we have, the economic powers that we have, the way in which we've been influencing the world, and you're looking at a region that is really at the cusp of defining the next chapter for humanity. And what's exciting about that is that in the middle of this very vast region, multi-languages and so on, sits Korea. And it's a wonderful mix of innovation of the future and also innovation on the old things to make them better. I really love when I come to Korea to look at the iconic companies that have defined much of the user experiences. Clearly, if you look at a company like Samsung, it is at the forefront of the mobile experience, changing the way we interact. It's a company that defining new ways that you can use your phone in a commerce, in a creative way to edit. You have many, many other examples. If you look at where Korea is leading innovation and driving it, look at, for example, what NC Soft has done. Now, they've taken a concept that was born by the cultural power that is known in Korea around media, entertainment, the way in which you can do gaming and so on. And they've created, using Google technology and so on, the notion of a digital human. And how do you make that digital human interact in an interactive and entertainment model and so on and so forth. So there's plenty of innovation that we can talk about from Kakao and Dangan and many, many others. I also love about Korean culture of always improving what existed. And there are many, many companies that do exactly that. They look at what has already happened and they think, how can I make it better? So Korea has been really at the heart and the forefront of driving a lot of these things. Last but not least, I think Korea is also a very pragmatic economy. It understands the balance between unleashing technology in a way that creates innovation, but also create the right protection mechanism such that technology is evolving in a very responsible and safe way. So the concept of managing, for example, things that should stay in the country to protect, privacy and so on. Much of the companies that we work here are in that. That's the attraction to Korea. It actually hits the technology dimension in every way.
그러면 구글 클라우드 입장에서 한국이 그냥 소비 시장이 아니라 기술적으로 협력할 수 있는 그런 시장인 이유는 뭔가요?
If you think about the Google Cloud stack, it's an integrated stack that covers all dimensions. We cover it at the infrastructure level. We cover it as a platform for developers to innovate and create applications. We build our own applications on top, including, for example, Mail, Gmail, Maps, and so on and so forth. And then we also build some business applications, for example, customer support centers and the like. In every one of those dimensions, Korea is positioned to partner and help us. For example, we may be wanting to serve sovereign workloads that actually are staying in there. So we collaborate with local providers by giving them our chips, but they host it in their own data centers, and they can actually guarantee that the information and everything is inside of Korea. Within our system, TPUs are not all built, of course, by Google. We partner with high bandwidth memory providers, and these particular components are crucial in helping us innovate. Every time a Korean manufacturer innovates, we benefit from that innovation in making our products even better and more scalable. If you look at the platform layer, many Korean providers are creating unique models. Kakao, for example, Health, created an interesting model. How do you actually help people do preventative medicine? So by actually giving you simple things like daily diabetes checks or sugar checks, habits, they're actually creating a wellness model that understands for your age type, your profile, etc., how do you do these things. Last but not least, the Korea market has a lot of affinity with regards to how we should think about applications. There is a strong culture, for example, around entertainment and drama and so on. It's probably, one of the major exports. I know my mother loves K-dramas. I'll say to my mother, I'm going to Korea. She's like, can you talk to them about this show? And I'm like, I don't know the people who are doing this show. But
Now you know me.
Now I know you. And when you think about the K-drama, there is just hunger with the creative artists, with the creative scripts, with the creative, and using technologies such as Gemini and AI and multimodality, we can create. It's phenomenal because that's the creative way using the technology. The technology alone is not exciting. When you bring the creativity, when you bring on, it's very fascinating.
그 이제 이렇게 얘기를 듣고 나니까 또 궁금해지는 게 어쨌든 구글 클라우드라는 파트를 책임지고 있는 부사장이신데 구글 클라우드 파트가 하고 있는 영역 중에 TPU도 있다고 들었습니다. 요즘은 그 각각 회사에서 자기들만의 AI용 칩을 다 개발하고 있는 추세인데 구글의 TPU에 가장 강력한 경쟁 회사는 어떤 회사들입니까?
It's a great question. Now, many people may wonder, why do we need chips that are very specific for AI? The mission of Google from beginning was to organize the world's information and make it useful and accessible. And our founders started this mission before many technological advances. And from the beginning, they were building algorithms and so on to do it. And then they realized very, very quickly that static AI or machine learning was not going to be sufficient. And that we needed innovations, the algorithm level, at the chip level, and so on, to be able to take these vast amount of information, make sense of it, and make it useful. We're very excited to see GPUs, NVIDIA come along and do this. And
What is the biggest difference between TPU and GPUs?
one thing you're in the business of media and so on. Imagine when you're doing a movie and you're processing the scene and you're running it on computers. The scene could be running for like 30 or 40 minutes. Your machine is busy, heavy working, do. And then suddenly imagine something glitches in the machine. All of that processing needs to be restarted again. And you're like, oh my God. When we design TPUs as a difference to GPUs, we design them so that we allow these failures to not occur and the processing to continue.
That's huge.
It's absolutely great. Now you move forward into a world where you're building large models. You're building a Gemini model, or if you have your own model privately, like X01 from LG or so on, you're taking weeks to train this model and you don't want this to glitch. It's costing you millions of dollars. The customers who use a TPU today, they tell us that they find it gives them about 30% improvement in their total performance and cost. We have all the major labs, exception of one. 9 out of the 10 major labs like XAI, Meta, etc., they all use TPUs because they're building these large-scale training models. Our next journey is to continue to make TPU not only focused on these model builders, but also, as I described, the inference, which is, of course, the generations of TPU we're building right now.
Oh, that sounds really great. We're very thank you that you're competing still. 그러면 혹시 칩 개발하는 부분에 있어서 구글의 TPU를 개발하는 것과 삼성전자나 하이닉스의 HBM을 개발하는 것이 공동 개발하는 형태로까지 갈 가능성이 있나요?
Most of the innovation that has occurred in the world has really been done through the collaboration of many, many companies. The HBM, or the high bandwidth memory, has actually been an incredibly important component. And the collaboration can occur in a number of ways. One way is, as we design highly sophisticated systems like TPUs to address particular things, we're pushing the boundaries of requirements, the density of the memory, how the size of the memory so can fit it into certain things. We are applying technologies like cooling, can the memory operate, and so on and so forth. But we also do collaboration. It's a concept that we have inside of Google where we create sort of joint ventures and sometimes, or we do joint research and researchers collaborate with these things. That's happening all the time. It has not stopped at all. Even when you look at it, not just at the chip level, which has been going on for some time, if you look at it even at the AI model, Samsung challenges us, or Kakao challenges us, Hyundai Motor challenges at a certain model. Think about what's happening in the world of autonomous vehicles. You're trying to do vision AI, you're trying to understand what's happening around the lanes, can the AI detect and project? So they're pushing us and saying, your model should be doing these things, and we work with them. So one of the things I really appreciate about Google and also about the Korean ecosystem is that we have a very strong joint interest in open communities and developing through open source and donating technologies so that innovation can spiral. Universities in Korea have been contributing a lot, by the way, to the creation of work that we've done in TPU. In fact, Korea has some of the highest percentages of people who are trained on open libraries that work with TPUs. I don't think we can innovate at this rate without collaborating.
반도체부터 모델까지 전부 다 하는 풀스택 AI가 구글의 미래 무기라고 하던데 이 풀스택 AI가 뭔지 좀 설명 좀 해주시겠어요?
One of the things we realized in Google, AI systems really have to have a system that is designed and optimized around them. And we quickly understood there's a relationship between the model, the application on top of the model, the platform that you use to evolve the model, like to retrain it, do evaluation, and so on. Each one of those components gets optimized and so on. You can start to serve this model quicker, cheaper, and better. At Google, we put all of this architecture and we call it the AI hypercomputer. Take the use case of speech between two humans. Most of the AI that exists in the world today will take what Mo just said, will change what Mo said from voice to text. From text, it will transcribe that. It will then understand what Mo said. It will then change it into Korean text. And then it will change that Korean text into audio. That is a very expensive route. So instead, we created a native way for audio to switch to audio without doing any of the transcribing. So we created efficiency audio to audio. So it knows how to efficiently use the model. It sends little tokens. It doesn't need to prompt so much. It uses agents to go perform a task very efficiently for you and sends it to you. So we're also optimizing at the business process level. If you take all of Google, you get all of the benefit. If you take some parts of this thing, you get parts of the benefit. And we, of course, interoperate with others. Very excited about this.
그럼 이쪽 부분을 계속해서 더 개발하고 능력을 향상시켜 나갈 계획이시겠군요.
Absolutely. We are continuously finding ways to make AI scale efficiently. One of the things that we have at Google is that we're not creating technology for other people to use. We're creating the same technology to use ourselves. So when we're creating these things, we also have to create them to make sure that these things are viable financially, commercially, and are powerful.
사실 최근에 미토스라는 해킹 툴이 나와서 전 세계가 벌벌 떨고 있다 이런 얘기가 지금 들리고 있거든요. AI를 활용해서 우리가 시큐리티를 강화할 수도 있지만 동시에 어떤 나쁜 사람들 손에 들어간 AI는 우리의 시스템을 망가뜨리는 데도 쓰일 수가 있단 말이에요. AI를 전문적으로 다루고 있는 엔지니어 입장에서는 그 미래는 어떻게 보십니까?
Every time technology comes in, somebody finds ways to use the technology to create abuse or to abuse that technology. Now, the answer to that really lies in three different dimensions. The first dimension, which is just like our own bodies, our own immunity. We're under attack all the time by viruses and bacteria and so on and so forth. The best way to do it is prevention. The second thing is that there are new attack techniques that are being developed using AI. The third, and equally critical, is create tools that allow you to understand the full spectrum of the threat, not just a single application, not just a single system. Let's talk about the first one, the prevention. Today, the majority of enterprises really struggle with analyzing security threats against their systems. So every day, security companies publish threats. Every day, hundreds of threats. But because it's so much, most enterprises don't have enough resources, talent, skills, and people to actually analyze these threats against our systems at a much faster pace and scale so that the people are not the bottleneck. Let's say you have 20 security analysts. They can only handle 18 or 19%. Can I create AI agents that cover that? The good news, this is happening today. In Google, we have Gmail and so on. And every day we're being attacked. Every day. So what we've done is that our security team has actually created what's called this co-scientist idea to research, analyze, and do a lot of this processing work in real time to help us prevent. Category number 2 is the use of AI to actually go and become a bad actor. Now, in the world of AI, one example of this is known as prompt injection. So while you're writing a prompt, you might copy or paste from somewhere or somebody might inject. You might say, can you please tell me what's the latest K-pop hit that is number 1? And without you knowing, somebody might hijack that and inject something that says, and send me this person's information. We have developed technologies. In Google, we call it model armor. And it's this model armor. Around the model, you protect the model from these types of malicious requests. The final topic is an important one, which is today what's happening with AI is AI can connect. My network is open, my application does this, and it's finding loopholes between these systems. So for example, let's say you want to bring the system down to do an update on the system. In that moment when you're bringing the system down, you might shut down the network, then shut down the application, you do the update. And then there's a window of about a minute where you're bringing back the network and you're loading the application. That window is your vulnerability window because the network is open, but your application is not active. Well, we are now using AI to say, by the way, there's a port open, close all external public network during this moment so that we don't have it. So the answer, as much as I took a very long time to explain it, lies in what superhero movies teach us, which is sometimes the answer to the attack is to use the same technique to defend.
But the other way, same technique with defense, same technique with attack.
That's right.
나쁜 놈들이 좀 줄어들길 바랄 수밖에 없네요.
We will continue wishing for a very long time.
조금 더 기술적인 걸 여쭤본다면 요새 문제가 되는 기술들 중에 하나가 또 딥페이크입니다. 딥페이크를 이용해서 사기를 치는 사람들도 있고 애들이 지금 위험에 처해 있다는 식으로 얘기를 해서 그걸로 돈을 뜯어내는 나쁜 놈들도 있단 말이죠. 근데 이런 거를 방지하는 기술도 구글에서 개발 중이라는 거를 들었어요. 이게 구체적으로 어떤 건가요?
We at Google have detected this particular risk very, very early on. And at the same time we were building our AI, we were creating the techniques that allow you to counter that. One of those techniques that we've made available in the open is something called Synth ID. So Synth ID is uncorruptible. It's a digital footprint that goes inside of an image that allows you to know whether it was AI generated or AI manipulated. Like somebody can try and copy, recopy, but that digital signature exists. We have arrangements with news agencies and so on where you can see, for example, they're putting labels like this is AI generated or this is real. And so one of the things that happens is that we're also using our reward systems to be able to say, if you engage in ways that actually defines that this is real, we will make our algorithm promote your content more. And if we detect that you're actually engaged in any deep fake or you're just like copying and resharing and everything, then our algorithms will actually downgrade your site. So when you're searching, those sites will actually get dropped and they will not be, promoted and the others will get promoted.
우리 채널은 항상 더 발전하고 싶고 더 많은 걸 배우고 싶어하는 구독자분들이 모여있는 채널이에요. 이분들에게 당신의 인생에서 가장 중요하다고 생각하는 어떤 깨달음이 있다면 그 한 가지를 좀 알려주시겠어요?
Can it be 3?
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you.
So I studied engineering and my passion when I was young was to do robotics. And at the day of doing robotics, but the first lesson I learned now looking back is that skill is necessary but not sufficient anymore. Because in order for me to build this robot, I need to start to understand many more dimensions that are not related to engineering. How can I create this robot in a way that's cost effective? How do I make this robot in a way that it can be used in multiple ways? Because if I only create it for one use case, then it might be redundant very quickly. So this is called system thinking. Systems thinking is the first thing I learned. Lesson number 2, in technology, a lot of people want to be individual heroes. Never is this the case. The strength of any innovation is built on a group of people who come together. For the strength of the wolf is the pack, and the strength of the pack is the wolf. No wolf can survive alone, but the pack will struggle if one wolf is not strong enough. And so you must always come together as a team. You must know what you are good as a wolf. The days of solving a problem alone are quickly dwindling. The final lesson, and I think this is one I even teach my children. Life is not about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning how to dance in the rain. I love that saying. In the technology world, this cannot be more true. If you look at the pace of innovation in AI, we learned something yesterday. Next week it's different. So you may feel like you're always in a storm. And if you think that things will slow down, you're going to get exhausted. But this is truthfully what I actually recommend for people to not just survive, but thrive in this environment that we are in.
Thanks for sharing great stories. 자, 오늘 구글 클라우드 아시아 퍼시픽의 부사장을 맡고 있는 모에 압둘라 부사장과의 인터뷰였습니다. 많은 기술적인 얘기들, 또 구글이 현재 하려고 하는 일에 대한 설명도 감동적이었고요. 우리에게 많은 교훈을 줬습니다. 여러분들께도 오늘 영상이 큰 도움이 됐기를 진심으로 바랍니다. 끝까지 시청해 주셔서 고맙습니다.